right, we're going to make a video here together, and it's a crazy day today. It's been a crazy week. We're in election week, and we're at the end of it on a Saturday. And so Sophie and I, in our relationships and life and ministry, our main focus really is relationships, what the dynamics are that influence and impact those, and the development of trust and communication being a foundation of trust, and obviously trust having a influence on communication. It's interesting. That's just an interesting dynamic. But those two dynamics underneath founding lasting, authentic, impactful, and healthy relationship is something that we talk about, teach on. There's literally videos being created right now from us in our ministry related to those subjects. And so here we are on Saturday of election week 2020. It's kind of been a crazy week.
For all parties.
For all parties. And so what we're trying to do is create a video here for a minute. Sophie had just a fantastic perspective on the trust process for lasting, helpful, authentic relationship. And so here in our country, we've got two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, and we have the presidential election with Biden and Trump, and we have one set of results that existed on election day, and then continuing counting of ballots for the last 4 days, and the production of some areas of questions and questions about trust opportunities and potential violations of trust that might or might not exist. And so we're trying to just make a really a nonpartisan video here about what would need to happen in relationships for there to be trust, because the ongoing health of relationships within our country, especially with leadership, would need to be influenced by these things. So I wanted to set the foundation for that. And then what are you thinking?
So. Well, so this was kind of born out of a real situation that happened today. And so I was just going to share with you. And there actually was somebody sitting with us that did not share the same point of view that I did. And it was just like a perfect opportunity to kind of just give an example. And so I was visiting my sweet friend's shop looking for some little stocking stuffers for Christmas. And we were talking, and I said, we were talking a little bit about election, being able to hold the integrity of an election. And, you know, whether or not you think that's done or whoever you voted for really isn't the point here. This is not a partisan thing. Election integrity is something that we as a nation should all fight for, because believe me, if integrity is not upheld now in favor of one party, then, you know, if it ever has the chance to exist again, the other party can do it, and there's no integrity there either. And so what we're asking for is bipartisan or not partisan election integrity. And so I said, you know, if you came to me and you said, Sophie, I think you stole earrings right now in my shop, I'd be blindsided.
She was saying this to a friend today who has a shop selling earrings.
I was standing with her shop in the shop.
So,
And so I said, if you think, anyway, I said, if you came to me and said that, Sophie, I think you just stole earrings from my shop. First of all, I'd be blindsided. And there may be legitimately people that are feeling blindsided right now. Like, where is this coming from? And so, and I would feel blindsided if I were accused of that. However, it wouldn't be about me or my sweet friend Chloe that owns the shop. It would be about integrity at that point. And my integrity actually would be challenged. And so I could actually let it make me really mad that she would question my integrity, and I could say, you're wrong, and I could go get in my car and leave. And I could still be innocent I didn't steal anything, but it just made me mad, and I got in my car and left. And at that point, I haven't protected my integrity, because my actions scream she's guilty. She's not even going to talk to me about it. She's going to get in her car and leave the premises. And so I said, but if my response was, I could even be a little indignant about it. Like, Chloe, my gosh, why? You know me. Why would you accuse me of such a thing? I would not steal anything from anybody, but not from you. And I said, look, empty my purse on the table. You just go ahead and pat me down. Pat Chris down if you need to. He was there with me too. Go search my car. Look all around me. Go see if I hid it in the bathroom. You do whatever you need to do for you to be convinced of my integrity and for you to know I did not steal from you. And so the proper response, I believe, is when your integrity is questioned, even though it may hurt, is to let them go about due process in convincing themselves of your innocence. And if I didn't have anything to hide, I didn't steal the earrings. And so, you know, and it wasn't like, you know, she was going to go find earrings and my stuff that I had to pay for. That was not going to happen. I knew that. And I opened it up for her to, you know, to be able to convince herself. Now, that's all a hypothetical situation. Obviously, I was not accused of stealing anything or anything like that. But it was just an example to two different thinking people at the time of, you know, here is a proper example. And it really, again, it really doesn't even matter that whether or not it's fair that Chloe is accusing me of this, because I would think it wasn't fair. Again, it's integrity. And my desire as a Christian is to protect my integrity because I have a lot on the line, you know? I mean, and so I want to protect my integrity. Now, once she's done all of her things and patted me down, patted Chris down, searched the bathroom, gone to our car, whatever she needed to do, again, hypothetically, you know, and she still says, well, I can't find anything, but I still think you stole these from me. Well, then that becomes her problem. Yep. That becomes her problem at that point. And I think almost anyone would agree with that. But the protection of my integrity says, search me and look and you know, just I'm going to open myself up to you because I want to protect my integrity. It's important to me.
Protect the relationships.
And protect the relationship.
Sophie, because ultimately, it's not just about Sophie. It's about her relationship with Chloe in that hypothetical example, which we want to carry over to the real example of what's going on in our country right now, because there's questions that obviously look very legit to millions of Americans, and then there's millions of Americans that believe that what the outcome has been on these past 4 days of counting election results
is not integrous.
And so. Excuse me?
I said it's not integrity filled, right? We believe it's not integrity filled.
Right, and others believe it's fine.
It is. Yeah.
And that it is. And so for the relationship, which is necessary for the union of our country, of the states, and the fact that these two parties represent so many millions of people, it would be real important for the above reproach aspect to exist. And so the way Sophie described that little example hypothetically today with Chloe, I thought resonated, because that's really what's going on. It will be a tragedy because all of the 3-letter news media outlets and maybe the social media major outlets that are now propagating, well, this is the way it is, with these massive questions that exist. For millions of Americans, the key would be hey, test us, search us. Hey, here's the deal. And there's been things that have gone on the past 4 days which haven't had that spirit to them. And so we're just talking about how to maintain healthy relationships. Trust being a critical factor right now. That's not there, and there's opportunities for that to exist.
Right.
And so we just want everybody to consider these two factors, because the reality is the relationship between Sophie and Chloe is something that matters enough to Sophie. The relationship for a healthy republic to exist, constitutional republic that's operating in a democracy right now, vote, it would be real important for the Democrats and the Republicans to work to establish trust and to let this process go on where the election maintains its integrity for this one and for the future ones. So that's our thoughts. And we thought that example, I thought that example from Sophie was just powerful. So think through it.
Yeah, and I also have just one request, and I think all of us, again, no matter who we support or voted for, as Christians, that we can ask God for truth to be revealed. And I think we can all agree on that, because I will tell you straight up, I voted for Trump. But if he cheated in this election to get votes, I'm a Christian, and cheating is wrong.
Right.
And I will call that out no matter who I preferred for this election. Right. And I feel very certain that, you know, we have friends that are Christians that absolutely supported Biden, and you know that has nothing to do with me. I don't. That's their ability, and we live in a free country. That's their freedom, right? And we can agree to disagree, and agree that the love we have for Jesus is more important than anything. And so when we have that most important thing in common. But what I'm really just saying is, can we as Christians agree to pray together? God, please allow the truth to be seen. And no matter who did it, if things that were done in the dark, if there were sins committed while no one was looking, whoever committed them, please shine a bright light on them, so that what's the word I'm looking for? Just lost my word.
So integrity and character and lack of reproach is clarified.
Right, that's what
and if things were not done in the dark, literally, if they didn't exist, and the question marks and the things that we have, certain people have to question the outcome, and those things are not based on what really happened. Well, that should come out. Absolutely. And should be embraced and accepted. But it would take more clarification, and would take definitely some of the hey, search me and try me mindset that Sophie said and gave you an example of, to try to show, hey, I definitely didn't steal any of your earrings. So we want to make sure that no votes were stolen. We want to make sure in our hearts that we can trust the system to provide for freedom for everyone, no matter who they are, no matter who they vote for, no matter
and for our children and their children,
and whether they believe in the God that we know, serve, and worship or not, they still have the same freedoms protected from this constitutional republic, and we want to just maintain that integrity going forward. So those are things we think. We just wanted to put it out there, and do it with a spirit of going, hey, here's a cool real life example of what we think kind of needs to happen now. So hopefully that's encouraging to you. Hopefully that means
y'all give us some feedback. We'd love to have feedback from y'all, and not in a way of, you know, saying disparaging remarks against either candidate. We don't want that. We don't want to start an argument. We want feedback on, do you think this is a good example? You know, and just things like that. And so anyway, thank y'all.
It's about relationships, about keeping trust. All right, love you guys.